What's good, YouTube? It's your boy K-Flex, and I'm back here with another video. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this preseason video right now because I am tired as hell, and the game is basically over. It's not over, but it's basically over. It's almost over. 26-24. We basically won. Well, maybe not because they have the ball, but even if we lose, like, who cares? Because if we lose, it doesn't matter at all. So let's get into the actual game now, ladies and gentlemen. At the beginning of the game, I thought the game looked awful, and honestly, like, the starters didn't play. None of the starters played really, besides Mike Gesicki. I mean, Raekwon Davis, I think he played like a little bit, like 2 snaps, but like no starter actually like played the majority of the game. Teddy Bridgewater didn't even play. This was the Skylar Thompson show, and Skylar Thompson looked absolutely incredible, and he played the whole game. As far as like the game, like the starters didn't play, I get that. I would have liked to see some starters play. You know, that could be just me wanting to see, you know, obviously the best players on the team play, but I'm sure they'll play when they're ready. But you know, Skylar Thompson was okay. Well, was really good. The team was really good. At the beginning, it was extremely terrible because, you know, we couldn't really find anything. We couldn't make anything happen up until we finally got turnovers, and we got, you know, a few turnovers in a row, and we kind of fed off those turnovers, a lot like how we do last year whenever our defense would kind of spark our offense, and then after that, we were able to look better. We had to settle for 3 a lot, which is concerning, but other than that, pretty solid game. Mike McDaniel's first game coaching on sideline. It was interesting, but a lot of it in the first half kind of felt like just the same team as last year. You know what I'm saying? We couldn't do nothing on offense. Our defense was doing everything. And again, this is all preseason, so none of it really matters that much, but that's just how it looked. One of the things that I was happy about was the kind of like the bootlegs and Skylar Thompson's performance. I was expecting more out the run game than what I saw, but again, it's not the real game. Also, we were practicing with this team for so long, this Bucs team, so you don't really know if like what they knew and what they didn't know, or like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why we ran the plays we ran, but I was expecting to see more out the run game, but it wasn't that much in the run game. But everything else looked pretty okay. Our offensive line is going to be a big part of our run game because they have to be able to block. The people that we had in the game today, they're not our starting linemen. And they sucked. Well, some of them sucked. Like, they weren't that good, so they couldn't really block, which made our run game look terrible. It didn't really matter what the play calling was necessarily. Our run game looks terrible because we have a bunch of we have linemen who just could not block today because they weren't our starters. Next preseason game, I'm looking forward to actually see hopefully more starters play. And I don't know. I kind of want to see starters play the preseason. I know some people are like fine with them never playing the preseason, only the regular season, which I really don't understand because it's like, I mean, they have to play eventually, you know, and I don't really see any difference in them getting hurt. Like, first of all, I don't think they'll get hurt. I don't want them to get hurt. I don't, like, sit up thinking they're going to get hurt if they play the preseason. But also, I don't see anything, like, I don't see it as better if they get hurt in the regular season. If these people get hurt, they're f***ed, you know, and we're f***ed. So, I'm like, you know, I don't really care. Like, I don't live life to be scared that, you know, my starters are going to get hurt. So I want them to play. Now, do I want them to play special teams? No. Like, again, with Raekwon McMillan a few years ago, I remember he got hurt in preseason his rookie year, and we didn't even get to see him because he was on kickoff or something. Like, I don't want that to happen. I don't want Tyreek taking punt returns back in the preseason. But, again, it would be cool to see starters in the preseason. But if we don't see starters or some starters, it's fine, too. Another concerning thing was the secondary. Our secondary after Byron Jones and Xavier Howard is very, very questionable. Crossing to me looks good. Trill Williams, I've heard, is good. I didn't see him really doing anything in this preseason game, but from practice and training camp and just what people have been saying, I heard Trill Williams was pretty good. And then you have a Noah who just can't play. Like, he's just not good.
Bruh.
And we can't really make excuses. I know we had the, oh, he's young, he's the youngest player in the league excuse or reason. Then we had the, oh, he has to learn reason. We have all these reasons for him, or oh, this, that, and the third. This guy, he's just not good at football. You just watch him play, he's not good. I hope he does something else. I hope he finds his way, but he's just not good, right? He's not good at all right now. Like, he can't stay with anybody. He can't keep up with it. Like, it's like, oh, well, he's in the right position. He just needs to learn how to. No, he's just not good. But watch him play in the game. He just sucks. Like, it's not really nothing else you can say other than he sucks. So I was concerned about our depth at secondary because Xavier Howard and Byron Jones aren't the most durable people in the world. And if one of them goes down, then we have to have Noah in the game or somebody like that in the game. it might be scary because there's not a lot of depth there, and you see our secondary. It's not a lot of like the backups were getting fried for a bit by Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask, so it wasn't looking like I thought it would. Like it just wasn't looking good. Okay, so like we don't really have depth in the secondary. These people cannot get injured. Linebacker wise, our linebackers are our worst group on defense, but I mean they did okay, and also they were the backups. I like Duke Riley. He was flying around making plays at the beginning of the game. Jalen Phillips played a very little bit. He didn't even get the chance to really do much. But yeah, our defense was still looking much of the same after they got 2 turnovers. They started looking like our old defense. Even though this was the second stringers, a Groveland got a touchdown. They started looking like the old defense. It's just that Noah's just not really good. That's the main thing I got. And he'll have more preseason games to prove himself. But right now, he just looks terrible. Offensively, our offense didn't look much different than last year. I mean, it looked pretty different than last year. A lot of motions before the snaps. A lot of crossing routes. A lot of, the play action bootleg stuff is pretty. I think that'll be a big part of our offense this year. But really, we really couldn't see our whole offense or tell it too much because of the fact that we didn't have our starting linemen in, right? So we couldn't really run the run game like we want to run it because obviously the run game is going to be a huge part of our offense. And we're not going to really even be able to see that part all the way probably into the regular season because we're not playing our good linemen right now. So right now, even if we try to set up something with the run's not working, right? It's not going to work. We could run, but it wasn't going to work. Also, the Bucs just have a really good run defense. So we're going to see next game maybe if we play with the Raiders next week. We'll see next week if it was just the Raiders run defense that was really good. But I think Gaskins had broke out one time, but other than that, it wasn't too much happening on the run game. Let me check the stats. Yeah, Myles Gaskin broke out for like a really long run, but other than that, look at that: 2 rushes, -2 yards. You got 2 rushes, 0 yards, 2 rushes, 4 yards, 4 rushes, 27 yards. Most of those carries were probably on one. Were definitely on one carry. So it just wasn't. It was nothing happening. It was nothing happening in the run game, right? So you don't really expect that, but again, the offensive line was terrible. This wasn't our real offensive lineman. So we're going to have to see what happens coming up these next couple preseason games. But again, the passion, what I saw, I liked it. 30 points scored almost. And I mean, that's one of the highest preseason totals out of every team. A lot of these preseason games, teams wasn't as exciting as this game. This game was really exciting. Both teams scored 26, 24. I don't know if they're about to kick off a game-winning field goal. I don't know what's going on. I don't really care if they beat us or not, to be quite honest with you. I've seen enough of this game anyways. But that's all basically what happened. And we can go on to next week and see what happens next week. But the things of note that I would say this game was run game didn't work, so we didn't get the chance to really see our real offense, if you ask me. Number 2, Noah sucks, and I don't even think he's the best. I don't even think he's even close to being even the second string cornerback on this team. And number 3, Skylar Thompson was looking really awesome, really poised, looked like he'd been there before. He overthrew a couple, but I mean he played well. Okay, Skylar Thompson played really well. Hopefully we get to a next game. I know everybody doesn't agree with that, but shit, I want to see him. I don't really live to think of the worst case scenario happening. Okay, I think he'll be fine. So hopefully we get to see Tua or at least some stars next game. But get in the comments to know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Road to 11K. I'm out.